me, your host Owen James. Guys, it is. I don't know. It's fucking Groundhog Day, isn't it? It genuinely is Groundhog Day. Again, the Jekyll and Hyde nature of Rangers. You know, we come off the back of that game on Tuesday night where we're all absolutely buzzing, absolutely flying. After a fantastic game, a fantastic display, a fantastic victory against Plitzen, who were, let's face it, very, very poor. We come into our domestic game, and yet again, we drop points. We drop 2 more points. And we know we could be in a position tomorrow where we're already 4 points behind Celtic in the league, which is ridiculous. We've had 2 games which were eminently winnable, which were 6 points should have been nailed on. I mean, and look, if you're sitting there saying, "Oh, Motherwell away, it's a tough game, and Dundee will come and make life difficult for you, and oh, it's going to be hard from that aspect," mate. This is Rangers. It's not. We're not. You know, Hibs fans, Hearts fans, Aberdeen fans. We're Rangers fans, and you know, honestly, if you'd said to Walter Smith or to Graham Souness, "Oh, it's going to be tricky for you to get points at Motherwell away or at home against Dundee," they'd have laughed in your face. They genuinely would have laughed in your face and told you whatever you were drinking or smoking you needed to put down and give it a rest. Look, I was not for Russell Martin being appointed as manager of our football club at the start of the season when he was appointed, and you know, I got called all the names under the sun, and I got slaughtered for that decision, and all this. You know, I got absolute dog's abuse of people for that, making those comments about Russell Martin. And I'll be honest with you, I feel like I'm watching the same movie yet again. You know, I feel like I'm watching, you know, Swansea take 2. I'm watching Southampton take 2. I'm watching MK Dons take 2. Nothing's changed in what he does. You know, look, we'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to Russell Martin in a minute and the change. But the biggest thing for me today, and look, I'm not excusing the players. Let me get this one thing straight. None of those players today earn pass marks. None of those players deserve any praise for today. I know the Tav fanboys will be in their absolute element because he scored a penalty. Yes, James Tavernier, boys, is the greatest player since Cristiano Ronaldo to ever play on a football pitch. James Tavernier is the greatest player in world football right now. He is beyond criticism. He is just next to God and next to a deity, and we won't criticise the amazing, wonderful James Tavernier. I do apologise for anybody who has dared to question that man's talent. You know, he's just the greatest ever. But look, I mean, in all seriousness, I'm taking the piss there, but you know, genuinely, the whole team today is a fucking disgrace. Absolute disgrace from 1 to 11, old school. You know, I've struggled to find a single player to praise. I thought Lyle Cameron did all right. He was positive with the ball. He wanted to get forward. He was pushed off the ball a little bit easy. He was a bit weak on the ball, but was quite positive. Gassama tried. He got us a pen. He was okay. I thought Ant-Man was fucking appalling today. I thought Cyril Dessers was an absolute joke today. I thought, you know, that he and look, before anyone says, oh, you know, we were unlucky because he was offside. Let's not get this wrong. The guy was offside. He was offside, and let's face it, is anyone actually surprised that Cyril Dessers was offside? The guy was probably born offside. The guy has less understanding of the offside rule than the love child of Fashion Sakala and Ted Lasso. I mean, genuinely has no clue. You know, he's not blessed with pace. Physicality is his big thing, and he was brilliant on Tuesday night in that game against a very poor Plitzen side. But today he was an absolute flop. Again, domestically, when he needs to put himself about, when he needs to show the physicality that we all can see, he just wasn't there. He was fucking appalling today, and illustrated why he needs to be sold. You know, I thought Butland was shaky at times today. I thought Max Aarons was a bomb scare today. Giga was sent off. He was appalling to that point. John Suter was solid-ish. He was all right. Wasn't terrible. Wasn't brilliant. 5 out of 10. Jefte was just genuinely fucking crap. Rothwell was appalling. Dio, I'd forgot. To be honest with you, at one point I forgot Dio was even playing. I mean, that's how effective that man was. The subs, Kieran Dow booed onto the pitch, and rightly so. You know, and Russell Martin sits there post-match and says, "Oh, I don't know anything about this. I wasn't aware of any of this." Does he think we're fucking stupid? Does he genuinely think that we are fucking stupid? I mean, he comes out with this comment, "Oh, I don't look at social media. I wasn't aware of any narrative against Kieran Dowell." Mate, seriously, if you're that thick, you shouldn't even be allowed out in public unsupervised. I mean, genuinely, he should have a carer, Russell Martin. If he genuinely doesn't get that people at this football club think that Kieran Dowell is a fucking waste of space and is the biggest, he's probably one of the worst players ever to wear a Rangers shirt, then, mate, you shouldn't be allowed out unsupervised. You genuinely shouldn't be allowed out of your house without someone to guide you and to help you, because you clearly have some sort of mental deficiency up there. Genuinely do, Russell Martin. You are just genuinely clueless. Kieran Dowell, to bring Kieran Dowell on after 55 minutes to change the game, I mean, for fuck's sake. I mean, I'm not being funny, but seriously, you know what? You could have got some overweight fan out of the Broom Loan, and it probably would have been more effective than Kieran Dowell. Genuinely, the guy is just a fucking joke. Really is a joke. There is still far too many serial losers within that squad who infect the new players with that loser mentality. James Tavernier being chief amongst them. I think at the end of the day, like I said, the players don't get no pass marks. The players are appalling, absolutely appalling. Now, Russell Martin, for me, I don't understand how anyone is surprised. We are conceding the same types of goal as Southampton conceded last season, as the MK Dons conceded, as Swansea conceded under him. Big, massive gaps, suicidal playing out from the back, inability to defend set pieces. His teams have never been any good at defending. His teams have never been any good at stopping the ball, going in the back of the box from set pieces. None of that has ever happened. He's never been able to do that. So let's get that straight. No one should be surprised at the fact we can't defend set pieces, as the fact we leave huge gaps and the defence looks genuinely awful, disorganised, pathetic, because that's a Russell Martin team. Go back, and if you don't believe me, go back and watch Southampton last season. Go back and watch Swansea play. Go back and watch the MK Dons play, because you will see exactly the same mistakes being made time and time again. And he hasn't learnt. He has not learnt from the fact that he has been given the bullet 3 times. Particularly obviously from the Southampton job. I genuinely believe that, you look at that today, and I don't care about the European games. Look, at the end of the day, it's the same as last season. We get up for European games. We'll probably beat Celtic in the Old Firm game and then lose the week after, because this team have proven time and time and time and time again that they can get up for European games, but they cannot get up for domestic games, and it's happening again and again. It's like Groundhog Day, genuinely like Groundhog Day. Realistically, it is. And Russell Martin, for me, just genuinely showed post-game today what a clueless fucker he really is. When he comes out with a comment like, "I'm just glad we didn't get beat today." I was honestly flabbergasted at that comment. To come out with a comment like, "I'm just genuinely glad we didn't get beat today." We're playing Dundee. We're not playing Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester City. We're not playing Celtic. We're not playing Real Madrid, Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid. We're playing Dundee, who were knocked out of the League Cup by lower league opposition, who will be in a relegation battle with Livingston and Falkirk to stay in this league this season. Yet he is glad we didn't get beat by Dundee at home at Ibrox. Now, go back over time. Can you ever imagine Walter Smith or Graham Souness or Big Eck or Dick Advocat coming out with that comment? "I'm glad we didn't get beat by Dundee," or "I'm glad we didn't get beat by Hamilton," or "I'm glad we didn't get beat by Motherwell," or "I'm glad we didn't get beat by Livingston," or something like that, similar sort of level back in the day. Genuinely, that post-match interview he gave was car crash. It was genuinely car crash. It was so bad. It's one of those things where, you shouldn't be looking or listening, but you'd have to, and you just end up pulling your own hair out at the end of it. He was that fucking bad. Now, I'm not saying we sack the guy. Look, it is still early in the season. I get that. I'm just not surprised that this team have shown very little ability to move forward, very little ability to actually gel together. I think the players are genuinely confused as to what they're supposed to be doing under this manager. I'm not saying they're thick, maybe I am, but they don't seem to know where they're meant to go, where they're meant to play, how they're meant to overcome a low block. And listening to Russell Martin as well post-match, it was almost like he was surprised that Dundee put in a low block against us. I mean, with the exception of Hearts, Aberdeen and Celtic, every team we play against, Russell, are going to play a low block against us. They're the only three teams that are probably going to come and play us and have a go at us. You're not going to... Obviously, Hearts, looking better under Derek McInnes. Aberdeen naturally have a disrespect for us anyway, and Celtic obviously don't play the low block. So, they're the only three teams in this league that won't play the low block against you. So I genuinely don't get how you thought it was a surprise. Now, what is also worrying is his tactics led to the fact that it was not until the 70th minute that we had a shot on target. And they'd already had 4 big chances already by that point, including the goal they scored. They hit the post, they put one over, etc., etc. They genuinely had more chances, better chances than us. And this is Dundee. Like I said, this is not Madrid or Dortmund or Liverpool or Arsenal or Chelsea or Celtic or even Hearts. This is fucking Dundee. It is not good enough. It is simply not good enough. And I'm sick to death of making these videos, sick to death of sitting here post domestic football game and moaning and whinging and whining about the fucking football and the quality of the football and the clueless tactics and the lack of shape and the lack of style and the lack of formation and the fact the manager doesn't have a fucking clue. He sounds like Philippe Clement. He genuinely sounds like Philippe Clement. Take 2. And as I said, look, I was never in favour of this guy. I've said back him. We've got to back him, unfortunately. I don't think the board are going to act. I think after 2 games, it's too early to sack him. But it doesn't stop us from calling him out and calling out what he's doing, because he's doing a shit job. But I'm not surprised. Look at his win percentages. Look at his time at Southampton. Look at his time at Swansea. Look at his time at the MK Dons. Look at how they played. And you'll see a similarity. And you'll see a big, big similarity. And, we could, obviously, with the cancelling of the St Mirren game, we could actually feasibly be going into the Old Firm 10 points behind them. I mean, that's just not good enough. Not good enough at all. And big questions need to be asked. And big changes have to be made. Don't know what those changes are. But this is appalling. This is genuinely another season of just fucking dross. From the team, from the manager, or head coach, whatever you want to call him. It's just simply not good enough. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments on what has been a disastrous performance by Rangers yet again in the league. And a clueless display of management by that vegan wanker in charge of our football club. Let me know your comments and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.